Hey there, Taurus. Welcome back to my channel and to your July 2019 love reading. I want to just start by saying a huge thank you to you guys for all of the views last month. You guys had over 13,000 views, which is crazy to me. It's crazy to even think about how many people watched some of the videos last month. I'm still sort of processing it. There were 439 subscribers that joined just from that one video last month, so I just want to say welcome to you guys, and I got to spend some time in the comments of the video talking with people and getting to know who watched the video and getting insight into what's going on with you guys, and that was super fun for me, so I hope that you guys will leave comments again this month. I did things a little bit differently this month than I did last month, so for the people who want to know in-depth details about the spread that I'm going to do, then I made a separate video for that. And I put the link to that video in the description box below. So if you want to know details about the spread beyond just the basics of what the card represents, then head over to that video and then come back here. And then now that everyone's back that wanted to go watch that, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into the pre-shuffle now. So I did have a lot of people who said they wanted to watch the whole pre-shuffle, and sometimes it just takes me a long time just to feel like I'm in the right energy and I've connected to the right group of you. And also sometimes I play music that would be copywritten music, so I can't actually play that. So to try to meet in the middle, I'm just going to show the pre-shuffle and I'm going to speed it up, and I'll show you guys the cards that come out, and I'll just talk over the music, letting you guys know what happened during the pre-shuffle. That way, I think that's sort of a nice compromise for everyone and their preferences. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this. I do want to just show you guys, I can actually switch you now while I'm recording just from one camera to the next. So I'll probably shift this around a little bit during the pre-shuffle too, just so you get a little bit of change of view. And I'll do that throughout the reading as well. I know some people like to look at the cards and some people would rather see me, and this is really the easiest way to make that happen. So if you hear little clicks, it's just me clicking the monitor with my mouse to move things around. Okay, so we're going to move into the pre-shuffle, and I will be talking to you guys shortly. Hey Taurus, so I'm going to jump right into this for you guys. These first two cards out are really all about you. This reversed Nine of Coins is coming forward to talk to you about your self-worth. I feel like you've realized that you've been selling yourself short in terms of what you deserve and what you can have, and also just in what you can experience in this life. And you're ready to change that. You might be trying to do everything at once or otherwise working too hard. So just be mindful that you aren't burning yourself out. Some of you might be considering ways that you can be happier with less stuff and fewer expenses, but the Ace of Coins upright foretells of new opportunities and potential when it comes to money. Beyond your finances, however, I also sense that you are starting to feel wealthier just in the quality of your life and the people who are in it. I want to talk about the next two cards together. So the Sun and the Ten of Cups come out both upright. Wow. I mean, those are two of the most positive cards in the deck. Whatever it is that you have on your mind, Taurus, I say go for it. Whatever you've been working so hard at, it's all starting to pay off for you. You feel so much certainty about things after a period which was full of confusion and indecision, things that you really don't like. The last two cards out, the King of Wands and the King of Cups, are also both upright. I feel like these two cards are showing up to represent the energies of you and the other person. But in general, I just feel like you're feeling very passionate and unstoppable, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. You've sorted through all the explosive emotions of the past and are in a place where you feel like you can handle whatever comes your way. You're making choices and decisions here through aligning your heart and your mind. You're ready to deepen your bonds and connections with other people, and you're just filled with this conviction that you know this is the right move for you. So this has been a really amazing pre-shuffle. The cards that have come out, they're all so positive, and I think that it is a time where you have started to realize your self-worth and you're not going to settle for anything less than what you know you deserve. Okay, Taurus, we're back from the pre-shuffle. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the reading. If, again, for those of you who maybe just skipped ahead to this part, I'm going to let you guys know as well. I did do a separate video this month that explains the spread more in depth. So if you want to know more information about that, I put the link to that video in the description box. And you can just head over and watch that and then come back. So I'm going to take the first card for you guys off of the bottom of the deck. And I'm going to just switch you guys to this view. Okay, and then we'll just lay out the spread. So how are you guys dealing with the eclipse season so far? Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. Or if you even believe in that stuff. I assume that if you're watching this video, you at least believe a little bit in it. And then Mercury retrograde too, on top of everything. The eclipses are really sort of, they've been very intense for me, honestly. I'm just gonna get a drink of water here, guys. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and get started with these first three cards here. I'm going to go ahead and turn all three cards over, then I'll walk you guys through each of them individually, and then talk a little bit about these cards as a collective. Just for the people who maybe didn't see anything about the spread, I'm going to put a title up really quickly, and then when that's done, we'll come back over and we'll get started with these three cards. Okay, so now you know what each of these cards represents. I will mention that, but just in case I forget, I don't want you guys to not be able to have questions. Very interesting. Okay. Well, why don't we get started with the current overall energy between the two of you. Who would have thought? Tower coming out upright. So, Taurus, what has happened recently? Let's see. Was it the reading last month? Was that the Tower moment? I'm sorry if it was. But, you know, Tower moments for me, they are good things. They mean that we are paying attention to things that aren't working for us anymore, and we're not scared to let them go. We're not scared of change. We're not scared of bringing in better in terms of people in our lives, or the opportunities in our lives, or just how we take care of ourselves and love ourselves. So Tower moments are actually good things. It means that something wasn't stable and strong enough to really endure what it was going through. You know, relationships can be very stressful and they can be very challenging, and you know, I think good relationships are the ones that sort of force us to the good relationships are the ones that force us to grow. And you know, humans are stubborn, and a lot of times the only way that we can really grow and change is if, you know, we have enough sources of pain to sort of force us to do it. So I do feel with this Tower moment that for the majority of you guys, it's something that has already happened. You know, with the current energy being this, I don't even feel like it's something that's going on right now. Maybe for a very small amount of you, this is something that you're going through literally right now. You're having sort of a Tower moment right now. But I think most of you already went through this within the past couple of months. It's still fresh, it's still new, but it's not anything that is like coming towards you in the future. You know, we'll investigate that in terms of what's coming towards you a little bit later in the reading. You know, I just feel like here's what's interesting. So energetically, I really don't feel like either person, so Taurus, you or the other person, or Crosswatcher, you or you and Taurus, I don't feel like either of these people are necessarily like emotionally, they don't feel like people who have gone through a tower. And so it almost seems like whatever this was, it came as a relief. Or you already knew that it was coming and you'd already dealt with it. Because I don't feel a lot of despair or sadness or fear or anxiety. It just sort of feels factual. It's this, yeah, there was this thing, it all fell apart. There's lots of detachment that I'm feeling. In terms of what exists between these two people, we have the King of Swords coming out reversed. You get that? There we go. The King of Swords for me as a reader, it's a little bit tricky because a lot of how I read the card is really based on the other cards that come out with it, and also just energetically what I'm feeling in the moment when I'm doing the reading. What I feel here is a lot of times with the King of Swords, when it's reversed, it sort of speaks to sort of like a very controlling, manipulative type of masculine energy. I don't feel that here. So when that's not what I get energetically, especially when there's a tower here, what I actually feel like is between these two people right now, it's what I was speaking to earlier. There's just this very quiet truthfulness that's happening between these two people. It's not something that either of them can really figure out yet, or there's not a lot of mental clarity or certainty about anything, but that is even being shared between these two people, that it's confusing and you don't really know what you want and you're not sure what would make you happy, and you both are sort of in that same place in terms of what you feel. And so it works. Like it's working right now to not really be like together and to not really be apart. It's an interesting vibe. It's very laid back, but the laid back feel of it is because both of you are very cautious. So it's neither person's being very aggressive about trying to figure this out or resolve things or figure out the next step. So it's very low pressure. Coming out here, the purpose of this connection. This is very interesting. I'm going to have to think about this one for a second. Where are you? So we have the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay, so when the Eight of Cups is reversed, this is the card of indecision. It's being torn between deciding to walk away or giving it one more try. Now, it's hard at this point, before we look at other cards, to really get too much in depth about each person. That's why the spread sort of breaks out into each individual. But what I do want to say here is that this, in terms of a story between two people, is really compelling because you've had two people who have clearly gone through something together. And whatever that thing was huge. It was a big deal. But it didn't necessarily tear them apart. It put space between them, and it put limitations in place, or boundaries maybe in place. But even everything around that conversation and those negotiations about what was allowed and what was fair and what was off limits, those were done very directly and very honestly and very truthfully. There's really clear, good communication going on between these two people. I'm really hoping this reading continues this way because it's been a long time since I've just had like a good lighthearted reading. The past couple of months they've all just been really like heavy for the most part. So this is making me really happy. You know, I just feel like both people are in a state of, look, it's either going to work or it's not. And if it works, that's great. And if it doesn't work, that's fine too. You know, we'll both be okay. Great, I think it's time to move on to the next section. So again, I'll just put this little title animation up for you guys explaining this part. And when you're done with that, I will flip the cards over so we can see what happened here between these two people. Okay, welcome back, guys. I'm gonna switch the view for you, and we're gonna go ahead and just dive right into these. Wow. Whoa. Wow, guys, that is a little bit crazy. Okay, so these 4 cards, I'll just give them in order. So card 4 is the Magician. Card 5, you have the Devil. Taurus, what is going on with you guys? Seriously. But then the other person is almost as crazy. So for the other person coming out next, we have the Star card. I'll talk about all of these. I just want you to see what actually did come out. Okay, and then the last card out for the other person, we have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, those are big, huge cards. And it feels like it too. When I was flipping these cards over, it just, as each one flipped, I just felt more and more, I almost said anxious, and that's not what it is. It's like an exhilaration, excitement. I think between these two people, there is a lot of interest and intrigue and curiosity about each other. You know, I'm just looking right now in terms of, so cards 4 and 5, those represent the emotional states of you, Taurus, and the other person. So Taurus, for you having the Magician upright, with this other person having the Star upright, I'm trying to just to think of how to summarize this, because there's this definite storyline that while one of you has this very solid faith and is very hopeful and purposeful, it comes from a place of really deep spiritual connection. That's most likely the other person. It could even be an Aquarius. And I don't normally mention signs in my readings. I'm not someone that really assigns that, but I felt very strongly that for this other person, they could be an Aquarius or have an Aquarius rising. They're interesting. I feel like, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm mumbling, but it's because of the energy. It just feels so like dreamy, and it's the counterbalance to what I was feeling earlier. And that's what I'm getting sort of as a play between this Magician and the Star. It's, Taurus, you're sort of really in this place of power and wanting to manifest this really amazing romantic connection. It's almost like when you've come out of whatever this tower moment was and you saw that this person not only was still there, but was also still so in tune with who they are and was so okay that they didn't fall apart. They didn't need you, but they were glad that you were there. And to you, just them sticking through this with you and standing by you even after it was done, for you, you just want to get this happening. It's really, this feels very much like it could be a divine union of some sort. And I tend to leave that as well up to the people listening, especially for general reads. So it feels very much soulmate energy. But here's what's tricky, because these two people have very interesting fears. And that is so opposite of what exists in terms of their emotional state right now. Because for Taurus, for you, your fear, your underlying fear here is the devil. It's, I think you're scared of how attracted you are to this person and how much you want them, not just in terms of like sexually or physically, which that is there very powerfully, I will say. It's, you're drawn to them, you're pulled into them whenever they're around. You just find yourself swept up into their energy and you find them very captivating. But that scares you a lot. It really freaks you out because you're not used to being that drawn to someone, or the intensity with someone to be something that in a way intimidates you. Most of the time you're not intimidated by intensity. For this other person, their fear is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. This person has a lot of fear and anxiety around like I'm hearing someone sort of in a very dramatic voice saying, I think I'm just cursed. It's, this person has a hard time seeing the patterns and cycles that exist in their life, and because of that, because they don't see that there are patterns, that there are things that repeat, that there are, there's a saying like same script but a different cast. They don't see that. They aren't able to see that for some reason. And because they can't see that, they feel like they are cursed, that all these bad things just keep happening to them. And because of that, because they feel like there's just one bad thing coming after another, they try to be very controlled and very controlling. But I don't feel like they enjoy that, because again, this is their underlying fear. They don't want to be that way, but they have a blind spot. They have a true blind spot that prevents them from seeing that the thing that happened with partner number 4 happened with partner number 3, and it happened with partner number 2, and it happened with partner number 1, and it probably happened before they were even partners with a parent or some other person. They just can't see that, though. They don't think that way, or they don't believe in that stuff. But that's true. That's part of psychology and human interaction with each other. I don't understand the inability to cognitively put this together with this person. I'm trying to see if there's anything else coming from the card. I just feel like it's sincere. It's sincere that this person really truly doesn't see these patterns. And it causes them to just feel like they have really crummy luck when it comes to life in general, but especially relationships. And yet, even with that, they still have this, they put out this emotional space of just being so hopeful and spiritually deeply rooted. This person is very spiritual, extremely spiritual. Okay. It's not where I saw this going, but that's really cool. That's probably one of the coolest things. It's the entire top row here. The Devil, the Magician, the Tower, the Star, and the Wheel of Fortune. That's a very, like, I have felt a little bit overwhelmed by that energy. That's a lot, and it just feels good, but it's very deep. It's very deep, and it's very complicated and very complex. There's a lot going on here. For some of you, this does feel very twin flame to me. It's just a lot of major cards to come out for this not to be something that's very major and very important. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the next section, because I'm very curious about this, and I'm sure you are as well. This is where the spread gets a little bit predictive, so this is what lies ahead. I'm going to put up the title again for you guys so you can see exactly what the cards mean, and then as soon as you're back, we'll dive into this. This is what lies ahead. So we're going to talk about the desired outcome of these two people, and then what actually needs to heal within these people as well. Let's turn these cards over. Wow. I'm going to start just here with the desired outcome of these two people. So Taurus, for you coming out as the desired outcome, we have yet another major card. We have the Fool. Sorry about that, it's so bright. There we go. it's what I was saying earlier. Taurus, you want to just get this going. Your emotional state is the Magician, and your desired outcome here is the Fool. You just feel like, I should just rush forward with this person. I should just let the magic happen. Just let this become something that has a life of its own. This is an interesting desired outcome. I'm going to have to really spend some time with the energy here, because I have the Seven of Coins coming out reversed for the other person's desired outcome. This card itself speaks to there being a limit to how much success something can have, typically because there really was no, if you look at it as a true pentacle coin, it usually means that there was some sort of business endeavor that didn't really have a lot of long-term planning or a long-term vision about what it wanted to do. And so because of that, there's a limit to what can really be gained by being involved in it. In a love reading, for me, especially when this shows up as a desired outcome, I feel like this person wants to know that this isn't something that has a short shelf life, that this isn't something that has a lot of limits. This other person really wants to experience love. That kind of made me sad. This person doesn't feel like they've ever actually experienced real love. And I don't fully know if they're wrong. I want to just go ahead and look at their, this card is what the other person needs to heal, and I want to see what's going on here. So for them, you have the Six of Wands reversed. And really what I feel here is it's less about this card's meaning. When this card is reversed, I feel it's less about that, and it's more about this card not being upright. Sometimes as a reader, the cards do have meanings, whether they're upright or reversed. Often within the situation, especially in terms of needing to heal something, this card came out reversed to indicate that it's not upright for this person, and that's what needs to heal, because the Six of Wands is the victory card. It's about success and making a lot of progress and having people recognize that this was an achievement. It's not just having an achievement met or having success, it's really having it acknowledged and having it be celebrated. It's what I was just saying. This person wants to experience true love. And Taurus, you are just over here ready to do it. It's like this Tower for you, Taurus, it almost felt like a test. Are we going to pull through this? Are we going to make it through this? And Taurus, I feel like you are mesmerized by how this person has been conducting themselves coming out of this. It's made you respect them on a very, very deep level. And because you respect them, it allows you to trust them. And having that amount of trust for you just makes it feel certain that this is someone that you need to explore things with. So I want to take a look at, for Taurus, in terms of what needs to be healed. You have a Seven of Wands coming out upright. I feel like what this means here, Taurus, not everything is something that is designed to be super hard or challenging. You don't have to fight for everything. You don't have to be able to show battle scars to prove that you've earned something or that you're deserving of something. The only person that you should really ever compete with, and I feel like this is actually a very common trait for Taurus, at least the ones that I know. There's no need for them to compete with other people because they compete with themselves. They put a lot of pressure on themselves to, it's about hard work, and hard work being the thing that gets you something that's worthwhile. I'm saying all this because I feel like, Taurus, the one thing that is potentially something that could get in your way here is that this connection doesn't feel like it's ever really been, it's been heavy, it's been intense, there's been arguments, there's been fights, but to you, Taurus, it's never felt like it was more than you could handle. And that's something new. Because in the past, there were times when you very clearly were just like, this is too much. There's no way I can deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. And you were out. And for this person, even coming out of this, a true Tower moment, the two of you you're out on the other side of it and you're okay. You're both okay. And, it's triggered some stuff for both of you, but the only other thing I want to mention before going to the last section is this other person, they do come across as being very grounded and very spiritually attuned and deeply connected, and they are. I don't want to make it sound like they're not. They are. But they also are really hiding a lot of pain because they don't like to show it. And Taurus, I think that you're aware of this, especially having the magician energy. You're aware that they're doing this, and for you, you've sort of been waiting for them to open up and to talk to you about it, but it has to be you that starts this conversation. It has to be you that goes to them. I do feel like they will open up, but they just need you to go and start that conversation. It's very important to them. So we're going to move now into the last part. I want to talk a little bit about this. If you watched the video about this spread, then you know what's coming here. But for those of you who didn't watch that and are still here at the end, I want to give you guys a chance to participate as well. So since I know not a lot of people make it all the way through to the end, I want to do something special for you guys. So these last two cards, they are divine messages. And clearly the cards are going to be what the cards are. I'm only going to have the two cards. But for anyone listening to me still, I want you to pick who you want these messages to be from. And it's totally up to you how you do that. It can be a spirit guide, a guardian angel, a divine counterpart, a soulmate, a twin flame. It can be from someone who has passed away that you just want to hear from. It can be from your perfect match or your future self. Anything that you want. There's no limits on it. But go ahead and pick that while the title slide is up, so that when we come back and I flip these over, you're expecting this message from a specific person or specific source. So I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, we're back, and I hope that you have selected who you want these messages to be from. I'm super excited to give them to you guys here at the end. Okay, so for advice and guidance, we have the Five of Swords upright. I hope that's focusing for you guys. I think this is really just a reiteration of what I was saying earlier to you specifically, Taurus, that I think actually I was getting into that energy before I even flipped the card over, because I think it might have felt a little random. Not everything is a huge battle. Not everything is... This is the thing. Let me switch over. I'll be able to show you guys these. You have these two cards, Taurus. I mean, look at these two cards. These people they're just on guard. They're battling. If they're fighting for their life, they think everything is just right on the edge of being this huge battle. What I was saying is that's not necessarily true. It might be that way about some things. It's very true that sometimes you might have to be willing to throw down and fight and stand up for yourself and put someone in their place. But it feels like you've had that approach to life in general, just feeling like everything is something that could possibly harm you or hurt you. The advice here for you is to really let that go, to let go of that. It's almost like it's become a need that you have to have conflict and feel like if you don't win, you're going to lose everything. And it's how you've been motivating yourself and how you've been dealing and going through life. And that's not what's required of you anymore. It's time to settle into some new challenges, learning how to navigate a relationship and not have the desire to bail because you had this tower moment, to go through something with someone and still want to be with that person, to still want that person near you. That is what happens when you let go of this Five of Swords mentality. It's a really beautiful message. So we're on the last card here. This does represent the most likely outcome. And again, whoever it is that you selected, this is their message to you about the most likely outcome based on where you are right now. So again, I wanted to give you guys the chance to pick the specific source because it gives you insight and it gives another layer to the card and its meaning because of who's saying this to you. This is their version of the most likely outcome, okay? So coming out here, we have the Knight of Swords reversed. Okay. I just want to talk about this a little bit. This feels very much like a caution to me. And it's around what I was saying earlier about the communication here. So if things just continue the way they are, this will end up in a space that just feels like it's gotten stagnant and it's not going anywhere, and both people are going to feel restless and it will eventually become resentful. But if Taurus, in this magician energy, if you just approach this other person about these things that they aren't really sharing and help them to see, help them to understand, because I do feel like you can manage to accomplish this actually. help them understand how to see the patterns that have been repeating in their life. Because as soon as they see that, as soon as they understand and they see that they have been repeating patterns and they've been in these cycles, it's going to completely shift for them how they see the world. They are going to be so shocked, because what I was saying at the very top of this reading, remember, is that sometimes this person legitimately feels like they're cursed, that they're just destined to have this painful, awful life where bad things happen. And when they see these cycles and patterns that they've been in, and they understand that, they don't feel cursed anymore. So they're able to allow themselves to feel blessed. I might even call this, they feel cursed, but they're not. Because that's really what's going on with them. If that conversation happens, this is really awesome. This is really amazing. But you have to, it has to happen soon. This conversation has to happen soon, because if not, you start venturing into a place where, even though this is a really fun connection, it'll start to feel like it's too heavy and it's taking too long, and you'll both sort of lose interest. It doesn't mean that if you lose interest now, you might not cross each other's paths again, because I feel like you would. But if this is something that you want to explore right now, if this is something that you want to experience right now, then time is of the essence. You have to, this energy that exists between the two of you at following this tower moment, it's like the fertile ground for you to really plant something and let it grow. Coming out of that, surviving it, this is the emotional energy that you need to sort of kickstart this connection and see where it ends up. Okay, Taurus, I just have to tell you, I really loved doing this reading for you. A lot. This was fun, and it just feels so powerful and so supported, and I would read this book if it was a book about this relationship. So if this resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what these tower moments were for each of you and what this connection feels like. I think I said this earlier, it feels dreamy. It feels very deep and complicated. But both of you just understand it on this interesting level that freaks both of you out a little bit, honestly. So I could stay in this energy for a long time, but I need to move on to another side. So thank you so much, Taurus, for letting me do this reading for you this month. It was really fun and awesome. I do hope to hear from you guys in the comments. If this resonated with you, take a moment just to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new and you have not subscribed to the channel yet and you liked this reading, please take a moment to subscribe and join up. There are awesome people here, and sometimes I can't get to all the comments that are left on the videos just because there are so many videos and so many comments, and I try my best. But people have started talking to each other in the comment section and giving each other advice and sharing stories, and that makes me so super happy, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a place where people who have an understanding of each other and are going through similar things have an opportunity to just hear that they're not alone and hear that they're not the only person going through it, and to hear advice from people who are a little bit deeper into the process or understand maybe a little bit more, and also to be able to offer advice for the people who are just at the beginning of whatever's happened. So that makes me super happy. But I will be in the comment section this week, just trying to comment and go through and like and interact on the videos as I put them out. So again, I'm so happy for you guys. I'm going to end it on that. I will see you guys next month for your video. I'm going to do some random videos this month that will go up. And if anyone's still here and you're interested in a private reading with me, I just felt like maybe someone had a question about that. My email address is in the description box, and you can just send me an email and let me know that you're interested, and I'll send you all the information in terms of pricing and how it works and what my next availability is. So thank you. Let me know how this goes, you guys, and I'll see you next month.